what? I can't wait till next season when us Eagle fans can sit back and laugh at the naysayers, the haters, the fan bases of rival teams who are all acting like the Eagles are going to finish in last place, have the first pick overall, and that it's all over for us, all because we've got to pay Jalen Hurts a contract. These are the same people that applaud Dak Prescott's big contract and think it's great that you give Daniel Jones $40 million when he has as many touchdown passes as Marcus Mariota, our backup quarterback. The Eagles are not going anywhere. People need to get this through their head. The Eagles are good. The Eagles' nucleus is strong. And Howie ain't done yet. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. I'll tell you what, I am feeling pretty pumped up today. I'm feeling ready to go. I'm invigorated because I know that the Eagles are going to be really good next year, and everybody is already doubting us. But our nucleus of this team is good. It's strong. We have Jalen Hurts, and Howie, he ain't done yet. It's only the second week of free agency. But you wouldn't know that if you listened to the haters, the naysayers, and the rival fan bases across the NFC East. Now, before I get into all of this, because I got a lot to say today, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled, pause, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, thank you so much for all the support you give me. Just double check, double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. I've had a lot of people actually over the course of the last few days tell me, not that they've been unsubscribed, but the bell has been unrung. You know, you can't unring the bell. That's the way it's supposed to be. But they're saying their bell has been unrung and they're not getting my notification. So just look into it. That's all I ask. And I appreciate it so much. Now, it's a little cloudy in my brain. I can't think too much. So you know what we got to do. You know what we got to do, right? When you got to think, you put it on the pink. There we go, baby. Like Thanos. I feel that energy, man. I feel that eagle green blood flowing through my brains and my body. My brains are all over my body because I'm smart. I'm genius. I look like Denzel Washington. All right, so anyways, enough about myself. Let's talk about some things that have happened over the course of the last, I don't know, several hours to yesterday, right? Let's start with the Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon. One thing Jonathan Gannon wants to make sure he does is make sure he gets receivers in his camp and on his team that will make his defense look better than what they are in practice, because he's not going to blitz. He's going to play everybody back, and quarterbacks are going to throw for about 85 to 90% against that Cardinals defense next year. So today, the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, signed Zach Pascal to a contract. Cardinals and wide receiver Zach Pascal agreed to terms on a 2-year deal via Mike Garofalo. Congratulations to Zach Pascal. I thought Zach Pascal was a class act. I liked him. We didn't use him that much, and I hope he does a great job in Arizona. But now for sure, we know the Eagles have to go out and get another wide receiver. It's not a pressing need for me, in my opinion. It's something that you can do maybe cheaply in free agency, maybe even after June 1st. There's no rush. Or maybe some point in the draft, you could go out and maybe address that spot. But I still like Quez Watkins. I still actually think Quez Watkins can play. I know he had a bad year. I know he dropped balls, but I still think he has talent somewhere. So I don't necessarily want to trade Quez Watkins unless I can get something for him. I don't think I can get enough. I am open to getting a receiver to come in and challenge him for that number 3 wide receiver spot. Do I think the Eagles will blow a first-round pick or a second-round pick on a wide receiver? No, I do not think so. Not for a third wide receiver, not for a slot wide receiver. I think you can find some value probably after June 1st, and they'll be fine. They'll find their guy. As you guys, of course, know, CJ Gardner-Johnson is a Detroit Lion. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I mean, I know the Lions are improving. They're up and coming, but Detroit, Philly. Detroit, Philly. Anyways, I guess C.J. Gardner-Johnson met with the media. He was talking about the Eagles, and one of the things he said was that, what is in the past is in the past, and he's only looking towards the future. I took it as what happened with the Eagles and negotiations happened. I totally blew it. I didn't take the money while I should have, so I had to come here to Detroit for less money. That's what I got out of it, okay? He also said this. Zach Berman said, C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Detroit media, I have no bad blood. People overreact to a tweet in free agency, but it was never disrespectful to the organization. Organization treating me like family. It's just I got to do what's best for my family, basically. And I bring that up only because you're going to have a lot of people start saying the Eagles didn't treat him good. They disrespected him with the amount of money that they offered him. That his agency was trying to act like, well, we only denied the contract because they tried to backload it, and it was only in the third year he was going to get paid. So there's going to be a perception. There's going to be the haters who are going to come out today, and they're going to say that basically the Eagles disrespected C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and it's the Eagles' fault. I don't blame the Eagles at all. I don't. I think the Eagles offered him a contract. They tried to keep him, and because of the money and the way things were situated, they couldn't wait and risk losing him and possibly one of those corners. You see, I truly believe, and it's already starting to come out, that he turned down that initial offer, and it was close to free agency starting, and they had to make a decision on Darius Slay. They were going to release him, and when they told everybody and they came out they were going to release Darius Slay, and then he not taking the contract, now you're at risk of losing both of them. The Eagles couldn't afford to do that. That's why they took the money and gave it to Darius Slay. They did all they could do. I don't blame the Eagles, although you're going to see a lot of people come out and try to put it on Howie, try to put it on the Eagles. It just didn't work out. And oh, by the way, I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to blame C.J. Gardner-Johnson for trying to get the most money he can. If he thinks he got the best deal and did the best for his family, God bless him. Really, God bless him. I like the guy. I wanted him to stay. I think that, he was about the money. He made it clear, like, even during the season, like, I'm going to get paid, going to have to pay me, like, the highest safety. And, only 1 year in Philly. He has no real ties to the organization, except for the fact that the Eagles trade him. And he made it clear money was the number one priority. That's a totally different viewpoint than James Bradbury had. James Bradbury, as a corner, one of the best corners, could have gotten more money in free agency. But there was something about the Eagles. There was something about being on his team. He wanted to be part of it. He wanted to be part of the city. And he made the commitment, I'm not going to be a mercenary. I am going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I want to be part of this. And boom, he signs with the Eagles. And that's really what it takes. When you're dealing with teams, especially they're going to have to pay a quarterback, don't have a lot of cap money, you need players that want to play, that buy in, that want to be there. It's got to be more about money, more than just money. And really, the way that you do that, the way that you get players like that is through the draft. You want to get homegrown guys that are drafted within the organization, that feel a loyalty to the organization, who drafted them, who went out on a limb and took them. That's how it's done. Okay, that's why you see Brandon Graham stays, Jason Kelsey stays, Fletcher Cox comes back. These guys come back because they have a loyalty to the town, to the team, and that's why getting homegrown guys to me, gives you the best opportunity to keep these guys long term, to get contracts that are team friendly, you know. And this doesn't happen all the time. This isn't always the case, but I think it gives you better odds. When you bring a guy in and he's only played 1 year, yes, his focus is going to be money. We'll see what happens. Maybe CJ Gardner-Johnson's a free agent next year and he comes back. I don't know. I do know that he had a very rare opportunity to be like beloved by Eagle fans. We loved him. We loved him. And you know, you see that bond form, not with every player, but when it does form with the guys that have it, like the Brian Dawkins of the world, the Kelseys of the world, like it's hard to let that go. And I think he had that right in the palm of his hands, and he chose otherwise. That's his prerogative. He has every right to do that. But he's gone, and we're gonna have to replace him. We're gonna have to find another safety. Now, how are we gonna do that? That's the question. My thing is this. I think the Eagles are going to do it two ways. Of course, free agency and through the draft. That's how they're going to rebuild this team, especially when you're giving Jalen Hurts a huge contract. You've got to be able to make and hit your draft picks. And the Eagles got a lot of picks coming over the next few years, okay? Let's take a look. Shout out to Bleeding Green Nation. They posted this with all the Eagles picks the next 2 years. I want you guys to look at this closely, because this is going to have a lot to do with the video I'm coming out with, another video I'm doing, but also for this video. Eagles 2023 NFL draft picks. So they got the number one. Their number one is the 10th overall. Then they have the 30th overall. They have a second round pick, 62 overall. They have a number 3, that's 94 overall. They have 2 7s, and 2019 and 2048. Now, you're going to talk and people are going to say, well, they got no 4th round pick. They got no 5th round pick. They got no 6th round pick. We need more picks. We got to have more picks. More picks is fine. If you want to get more picks, that's fine. However, one of the other things you need is you need top-end, top-tier talent. You need blue-chip players, franchise-building players. You're not going to get those, well, I won't say this, but it's a lot harder to get those guys at number 62 overall or number 94 overall. You get them at number 10 overall. So my point and what I'm saying is I'm staying put at 10 or I'm trading up. And I'll discuss that in the next video. But I'm staying put with 10. Number 30, I'm looking to move up. And the reason why I say at number 30 I can move up is because of this. If you look at the Eagles 2024 draft picks, you got number 1, you got your number 2, you got a Saints number 2, you got your number 3, you got another number 3 for a compensatory pick, you got your 4th round pick, you got a 5th from the Vikings, your 5th pick, and then you're going to have multiple compensatory picks in the 5th round possible, multiple in the 6th round. You may even get a 4th round pick compensatory, but you're going to get at least 2 3rd round picks. You're going to have multiple 5th round picks. You're going to have a lot of mid round picks, which to me makes that number 2 New Orleans Saints pick in 2024 to me expendable and to be able to be used in 2023 to trade up. And that's what I'm going to do with the number 1, with my 30th overall pick. I am going to trade it up. Like I said, I'll talk a little more about all that later in the next video, because I'll focus more on the draft. In this video, I kind of want to just focus on the Eagles and kind of where they're at, where they go from here. The Eagles, their nucleus is strong. Their offense is really good still. They've lost defensive players, yes. They've lost 7 players total so far. I believe that first pick is going to be a defensive player. However, I think when it comes to safety, and I think it comes to linebacker, I think, and I'm looking the Eagles to address that in free agency. I think that's the time you address it. You want to get an experienced safety in there to play with Bradbury, to play with Slay, because you really have young guys behind it. Reed Blankenship, I like him. You can't say that he's the guy of the future. We got to see what he is. I don't think anybody has any confidence in Kevon Wallace. I have no interest in moving Avonte Maddox to safety. I'm keeping him in the slot. So I think the Eagles are going to have to break, for this year, they're going to have to break things up into two areas. You need a safety, you need linebackers, you need another defensive lineman, and you also need another running back. I think those are the 4 areas in which you got to improve, not including special teams. I think safety and linebacker can be addressed in free agency. I think defensive line and running back should be addressed in the draft and the draft early. And if the Eagles do that, they're right back in this thing. People forget, and other fan bases are quick to rush to tell us we're not going to be anything, we're not going to do anything. But the Eagles still have 3 players on their team that had double-digit sacks last year. They still got a first-round defensive tackle in Jordan Davis. It's only going to get better. They only got Nakobe Dean, who I think is only going to be better. They already still have one of the best secondaries in the league, especially at cornerback. I think you have 3 corners that are really, really good. Maybe the best duo in football. At least it's top 3 for sure with Bradbury and Slay. So this team is not bad at all. And when we look at this team and we look at their strength, it's mainly on offense. But their defense isn't bad either. So if the Eagles make the right moves, they'll be right back in this thing, especially with a weak NFC conference. But the Eagles are going to have to build it a little differently than they built it last year. They're not, and people are starting to see this now. You're not going to replace Javon Hargrave with, let's say, Jalen Carter. He's not going to come in and produce like Hargrave. You're not going to find a safety that's going to come in first year and play the way CJ Gardner-Johnson played. You're just not going to replace these guys with young guys first year. It takes time. But if you see and you look at your team and say, all right, how can we build this team so that they're ready to compete for the NFC again? Even though we can't fix everything, what can we do to make this team better? And it's simple. Make your offense stronger so that your defense has time to adjust, to hide some of the holes that you're not going to be able to fill, and build your defense over the next 2 years. Use your offense, use your strength, and make your strength even better. And if the Eagles do that, they'll be right back in this thing. My point of this video is that the Eagles are not going anywhere. The Eagles are still one of the top teams in the NFC. And people could be laughing, people could be acting like it's all over, telling us how bad we're going to be right now. But you have Jalen Hurts, you have Devontae Smith, you have A.J. Brown, you have a great offensive line, you have Dallas Goedert, and hopefully soon you're going to have Bijan Robinson. Okay? Because he will make your defense better and your offense. How does he make the defense better? It's simple. He's on the field. He's running the ball. The Eagles offense using time of the clock, time of possession. Defense is on the sideline. That's a good thing. That's how you have to do it. Prove the offense. Make the offense even better. Let them carry the defense for at least 1 year. And I'm not saying carry like the defense is going to be just crap. But where you have holes and where you can't replace everything, like let's say if you can't totally fix the safety position this year, well, guess what? Your offense is good enough to make up for it. And then in 2 years, when the 2024 draft is over, your defense is going to be completely rehauled, rebuilt, retooled, and you're going to have young guys, and that's going to help you during Jalen Hurts' contract. Eagles are in good shape. Howie Roseman has got a lot of time to work. There's no need to panic, and there's no need to buy into the crap that we're hearing. I believe Howie has a giant move or two to go, and I think they're going to be in the draft, and we're definitely going to get into that later in the next video. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. What we need to start doing is we need to start scouring the NFL rosters. Look for decent safeties, maybe young, maybe a little older in their prime. But look for guys that are in the final year of their contract, maybe not on a team that is going to be competitive, maybe a team that's not going to be able to get to the playoffs. Look for those guys with the final year of their contract. These are the guys Howie Roseman will target. And he has a lot of ammo to do it, especially if he uses those 2024 draft picks. With that said, Denzel Washington out.